It's time for Cup of Rad, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie. Hey kids, it's Mike from Cup of Rad, and
I'm Katie.
That's right, we're coming at you this week with some exciting news. D23 just happened this past weekend.
Yes, that's still something I would love to go to.
Right? I think it'd be a fantastic thing to be able to see because we are huge Disney nerds. And not only that, well, they have so many
Star
brands.
Wars and Marvel and everything, right? This year, all the Little Mermaid 30th anniversary merch. Oh my God, I just want to buy all of it.
You were drooling over a lot of that stuff. Her universe showed a lot of really fun stuff.
Yes, I just saw it was an Endor dress.
Yeah, I could rock that.
I know you would.
Yeah. I want Ewok stuff.
It'll be just a really long shirt on you, right?
And with that, though, we got a slew of news. Just bam, bam, bam. Really fast and furious stuff. The biggest thing, the thing that came out of it was they promoted the heck out of Disney Plus.
Well, that makes sense to be the focus of this one for sure, since it comes out in the fall.
That's right. Disney Plus, if you aren't aware, is going to be Disney's streaming service, and it's coming out in the States November 12th. And the beauty is, just a few days before it was announced that in Canada, November 12th, it would be dropping as well.
So we can actually be excited about it too now.
Yeah, which is very exciting because they had at Comic-Con they announced all the Marvel shows. WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, the animated
I forgot
one.
about the Loki show. Oh, I'm so excited. We can drop all of that other stuff.
All the other stuff?
Just watch. We'll just all we need is Disney Plus.
Well, it's going to be that way because...
So what are the new things we learn about at D23?
Well, it's going to contain their entire animated backlog.
That's crazy.
Including their vaulted stuff, which is wild. And the amount of TV shows that they're going to have on there from the Disney Channel animated live action. That I can't even remember how many hours worth of content they're going to have.
Wow. So is like all the Star going to be on there?
Oh, well, we'll find out, right? So basically, Disney is going to make your discs obsolete.
Which makes me sad.
They're going full force into their streaming. So what they announced and what we got to see some new trailers.
Yes.
And the one that everyone was chomping at the bit to see, myself included, was The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, I'm like super excited about that one.
That is what I would love to do actually as a dream job.
Well, yeah, you were watching this and you're like, yeah, this is what I would.
This is me now.
This is me now.
I want to travel the world meeting people.
The world according to Mike.
And yeah. Like
that would be awesome because he looks so happy. Like, how could you not love Jeff Goldblum now?
Right?
Because he just looks like everyone is interesting to him. He wants everyone to be as excited about life as he looks like he's excited about life.
Yes.
And I think it's just such an awesome thing. He's such a cool, positive vibe.
Yeah, And
he looks like he's an interesting, weird guy, too.
Right? He's got the quirk meter turned up to 12.
Max on that one.
But that's what's fantastic, and right? I love it, and I can't wait to watch that show.
I'm excited to watch it because I'm like, what? You don't know what to expect.
Right?
It's a documentary of Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's going around. He's synchronized swimming. That showed him tattooing people.
Yes,
like that.
I want a tattoo by Jeff Goldblum. I don't care what it is. Make it happen.
With that too, we got to see the new Lady and the Tramp.
Yes.
I'm not totally sold on that because I'm not a big fan of the reboots.
Yeah, for me too. I love Lady and the Tramp, but it's not like my diehard favorite thing. But I don't know. It's just jaded from the live action aspect for things. I'm like, really? Do I need this in my life?
Especially when Disney Plus will have the animated right there ready for you. So
and I know there's a few things that I just really love about the animated that I'm not sure we'll be able to come across nicely, but if it really shows me that it's truly different, then I will at least give it a chance. But if I watch a full trailer for it and it just still too much reminds me of it, then I don't know. It's just there's still.
I don't think we'll see another trailer before.
No, probably not. You're right, but it just kind of. It was there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
If you really love dogs, you're probably gonna get a kick out of it.
Yeah, there's that.
But it didn't really grab me. The next one that they dropped a trailer for that at least caught our attention,
yes,
I think was Noelle.
Yes. You know what? I love different new Christmas movies. Like I have our stable of our standards that we have to watch in our classics, but it's always fun to get new ones. And I'm not someone who gets sucked into the Hallmark like romance Christmas movies too much, and so this one is kind of fun and different. Like I always love the humor ones, and this is a completely different concept that it's Santa's sister trying to save something. And
Well, it's his daughter.
No, it's his sister. Well, it is, but it's the new Santa's sister, right?
Her brother.
Her brother is supposed to be Santa, and he's not, so she's trying to save and bring him back, right? So that's a concept. Even just the idea of Santa having family is different, you know? We never even thought about, like, Santa Claus 3, he has this kid. Well, what happens from there, right?
Right. Wouldn't that be wild if they actually connected it all? That would have been fantastic.
That would have been great.
But...
Oh, that would be cool.
But honestly, what streaming service doesn't have some direct-to-streaming Christmas movies?
I know, right? Like, it has to happen. It's like, well, we have a streaming service. We have to also have a Christmas movie. And I love Bill Hader. So, and it'd just be fun.
It's interesting, too, because that was your first go-to, was you wanted to see it because of Bill Hader. Not Anna Kendrick.
I like Anna Kendrick's, too, though. I really do. But no, when I'm just seriously looking at the poster, I'm like, Bill Hader's in it. I'm in. I don't even have to watch the trailer. Seriously, that's what I felt. And then I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool.
Bill Hader's there.
Bill Hader.
And he does a Stefan thing with his hands.
It's fun.
So.
Anyways, the real one that we're super, super excited about.
Oh, I thought we were done.
No, that was it? Oh, sorry.
Star Wars.
Jeff Goldblum, I forgot.
That one, for me, that blew the water out of everything. Even though The Mandalorian looks amazing.
Epic. It looks like a movie.
It does look like a movie.
Like, I'm super excited about it. We watched it a few times. We're like, oh my gosh.
It just looks fantastic. IG-88, everything about it.
Spinning around, shooting stuff.
Right.
It was so awesome.
So that there is worth the price of admission. I'm excited for that one. It really, really punched up the whole everything.
Well, if they can put that amount of quality of something in there, that's...
into any of their shows going forward, it's going to be a really fun time. And with that Star Wars news, we got to see a really dope poster.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. There's little tidbits coming about the rise of Skywalker. That Rey has gone dark and
I'm curious to see
brandishing a double red saber.
Yeah, like this will be weird. Like it's hard. Like if I try to think about it too much and like I delve into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't make
fan fiction.
Just tune it out and just wait for the movie, man.
That's what it's gonna have to be. You're gonna have to see what ride they throw us.
I don't want to get my hopes up for something. I don't want to be disappointed about anything. You know what? I'm there no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm good. So
in the seat. Ready for that title crawl.
Yeah.
But also with Disney Plus, they did officially announce that Ewan McGregor's coming back as Obi-Wan for an Obi-Wan series.
That's super excited.
And that'll be pretty cool to see. We'll have a lot of hello there.
Oh,
I hope that happens like every episode.
I know.
I just want to hear that.
It just needs to happen all the time.
It'll just, you know.
I love you.
That's how it should open. Everything.
Hello there.
Hello there. I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is my journal.
The world according to Obi-Wan. What's the time?
Hello there. I'm traveling the galaxy. I'm finding unique people to talk to.
That would be fantastic. I think you should tweet Ewan McGregor that.
No,
what is the premise for that? Anything? We don't care. Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan.
That is all
Shut
that's
up and
happening.
Take my money.
Yeah. No, there was really. I think that it's somewhere after this and in between that.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't they haven't really explained too much about it. Just I think there have been so many rumors swirling around that they needed to be like, yeah, it's happening. Yay. Yeah. So from that, then we got Marvel stuff. More television shows are dropping. We're going to do Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel.
Wow.
And they confirm, though, that we will for sure see Miss Marvel in the MCU at some point as well. So that's pretty fantastic news for sure.
Well, it's all we got. Oh, this isn't Disney Plus though, so never mind. We saw Black Panther 2.
Yeah. Black Panther 2 is coming out. That was the only bit. Well, but they showed Eternal stuff.
Yeah.
So not a lot on the movie front. Very, very focused on the Plus service.
Yes, very much.
There is going to be on Disney Plus. So Muppets are supposed to be coming back.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see how that works.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
The last one didn't really work out for them. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's really what Disney Plus dropped.
Yeah, I'm
the
super
movies and all
about
that. Besides that, we got to see a photo of Cruella.
Oh,
that looks like Edgelord from Hot Topic.
I don't know. I'm worried it'll be Maleficent, and and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
I like 101 Dalmatians. I do not think I need to delve deeper into the world and character that is Cruella. I've never once felt like I wanted to know more about the crazy lady who wants to skin the puppies. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to feel any love to her whatsoever.
Yeah, like, I don't know, how are they supposed to, are they going to try to make her, like, sympathetic that you feel sorry for her?
Yeah, and
like,
I'm afraid that that's what they do, because how else are you going to have a movie?
Yeah.
Because she's already a villain in 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
So what else are we going to learn that she's going to be something else? Like, I don't even know her backstory. She's just a crazy lady that wants fur.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just... seems a little unnecessary.
Especially being that it's Emma Stone, there's going to be twistiness to it that changes it.
Yeah, and she's a cool villain, but I don't know.
Stay a villain.
Stay a villain in the context that you were originally there for. Like, even with Ursula, honestly. Like,
what would you do if they came out with Ursula and it was all
movie.
made like Triton look bad because he was like the one she fell in love with and put her away, and
it's hard.
and
I guess
made her the villain that she was, and then like made all the mermaids evil, and you were supposed to like root for Ursula.
Yeah, see, and that's a hard time. Like, okay, so Ursula would be someone where it would be interesting to see her backstory of how she got exiled. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't be interesting, but I don't want any part of seeing her. I don't want to be sympathetic to her plight. I want to be like, yes, I'm glad you deserve to be exiled.
Right.
Like, that's what, and so then what kind of movie really is that? I would rather see it more of like it'd have to be a Triton and Ursula movie where you really she is truly still the villain, and you're still rooting for the mermaid and you're still rooting for Triton. And so that one I could be okay with, seeing their history.
If you could actually have it the way that it should play out versus making her an anti-hero or something.
I don't want her see where she's trying to do something and she's like, oh, woe is me, you don't want to do what I want type thing. I don't want to see that, right? So, and I'm leery that they want to do that with their villains. Like, no, keep the villains, make the heroes. That's what we want to see from it. I don't know. I mean,
I love villains, but I like seeing them as villains, because once we start making them into heroes, the same thing happened even with Harley Quinn. Once she became more of a anti-hero, she's not as exciting. No. So I wish they would just keep things bad guys.
Like Maleficent, I would love to have seen her like she is in the animated in Sleeping Beauty, scary. And,
yes, she needs to be the baddest
about that, right? She needs to be the person that is going to light the forest on fire because I got angry about something, you know? And yeah, that's what I would rather see, right? So
we did, unfortunately, I'm going to just touch on this lightly and we're not going to dwell on it, but we did get a little bit more confirmation that Holland's Spider-Man is exiting the MCU.
I'm still going to pretend like I didn't hear that.
Sony and Disney haven't been all come up with a deal, and they had a little like Entertainment Weekly video that Feige was like, yeah, we told the story we wanted to tell, which kind of bothers me because he's like, you told the story you wanted to tell.
That's not a complete story.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. So, like such a big cliffhanger.
Yeah. So this is unfortunate, and hope there's many more months. They could possibly come up with a deal. They don't have to even try filming for probably 6 months.
Yeah, so
there's plenty of time to figure something else out.
Because I think the world is devastated, collectively devastated.
Yeah,
I love the meme that you saw with the Austin Powers and Dr. Evil. You know, we could make together. Let's do this, and we could make billions. Why make billions? You know, Sony saying this. Why make billions when we could make millions?
Yep,
that's what I feel.
There's a lot of politics in play that we're not all privy to. We only hear certain sides of the story. Well,
you don't know what all they want to do with the background, the administration, all the things that might be, you know, we all understand the idea of contracts. The small print is always the kicker, right? So who knows, but let's just hope that they can figure something out.
I hope they can. With that, there's a lot coming to Disney World and Disneyland, which is pretty exciting. I won't go into it. You just look online, you'll see all the real things.
Well, yeah, you see all that.
The most thing, you know what I'm more excited about when it came to Disneyland? Is Toontown is getting a bit of a redevelop.
Which is awesome.
And we're going to see the same ride. Granted, that same ride is going into almost all their parks now. It's the Mickey Mouse's Runaway Train based on the new Mickey Mouse shorts. And I am so excited.
Right? That is so awesome.
That's
well, you know what, I just in general, I love that they're actually making a Mickey Mouse ride. I think that's great that they have.
There's never been a Mickey Mouse ride.
I know, it's such a weird concept. You have this entire park and world and company built on a mouse, and yet there's not a Mickey Mouse ride.
Right. Well, it's because it became a corporate logo, right? It's
right.
Like, I'm a corporate logo now. You know.
So I think that's really cool. They're doing that for sure.
That you know, they announced the name for like Marvel's Land of Avengers Campus, but I was like, but Mickey Mouse has a ride.
Well, Toontown in Disneyland definitely needs so much of it.
So I read it's going to be the Gag Factory is going to be leaving, and that's where the entrance.
Fine. Well, you know, because honestly, that Gag Factory used to be really a unique store, and it is not anymore. Based. Yeah, and now it's just like every other place. So what's the point of it now?
Yeah, you know, that's the biggest thing though that I miss about the older Disneyland. Mm-hmm. This is my nostalgia moment about Disneyland.
See, we've got to see it change over the years.
Way back when it's probably a good 10 years or plus. A lot more of the stores had exclusive merch that was just for those lands, and Toontown was one of those places where it was like the only place you could find something.
That was 7 years ago. You could still do that.
Yeah, but it was
in the last like 5 years that it changed, right?
But they streamlined all their merch.
Because it used to be like, oh, what store did I find that in? Oh, I have to trek back to that land and find it there.
But then it was like really unique and cool, right? Yeah. And I miss the fact that they streamlined it all down, and you get the same shirt you can get at Disneyland, you can get at Disney World.
Well, see, like, because it always used to be you'd have the Pirate, you'd have the Haunted Mansion store. Those ones, the only ones that are left that are still slightly unique in themselves. Yeah. And like, I even love the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's the only other one too, I guess. But it's because it's so much more of a ride-based, one. But I used to love that it was so unique. Even the boutique, the mini boutique in New Orleans land, it used to be just very specific clothing. Well, now I can find that on Main Street as well in that boutique. And like some of it even just started popping up in the regular like Emporium style store. Like, what's the point then? Why would I go through all these different stores if I could buy it anywhere, And that made me sad because it always used to feel like this gem type thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was that like, it was for us, the collectors, that feeling of like, it's the hunt,
right? Like, I get to go
now
to
it's like store. I can go down like, downtown Disney and be like, I know
I found it for the world of Disney, we're good to go. Like,
so I wish they would go back and try to come up with more unique stuffs, but hopefully maybe with some new rides.
Yeah.
They did also announce that there's going to be a big Tomorrowland refurbishment as well, but that's like 2025 2026 end date. So lots of exciting things, and if you're a Disney nerd, you're gonna love it. It's fantastic. D23.
Some merch other merch that I found on D23 that I would love to have gotten is they had Masquerade dolls, and most importantly, because they had Meg from Hercules and Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, I love those characters. Like, Meg is obviously one of my favorites because of being Hercules, and it's so hard to get Meg merch, so it's just beautiful. And then Esmeralda has just always been this really colorful, fun character, and you don't see merch from her at all. And her dress is just gorgeous. So it's like, full masquerade, like ball gowns, and I need those in my life. Enough said.
That's one of the things. Every convention brings out some exclusives, right? There's always something amazing in it. So they went their A game with those dolls, because those were beautiful, stunning looking creations.
Right.
So we got to hit up a couple movies that we missed in theaters.
Thank you, library.
Yeah, library is a fantastic thing. And ones that we want to see but weren't sure about, so we don't hit up on demand and we do it for free.
Yes.
First up, Dumbo.
Yes, we watched the live action Tim Burton Dumbo that had come out. That one there, it kept grabbing my interest because it looked different, obviously, from the animated. But at the same time, we weren't quite sure because it's not something that we really love.
I'm not a huge Dumbo fan. Yeah, I'm not like, oh, Dumbo.
Well, and honestly, for me, over the last few years, ever since we got cats, I feel so much more like extreme emotion whenever animal is in distress on screen. Like, it bothers me to my soul. So the trailers would make me upset. So I was afraid that if I went to theater, I would just be a wreck, which I'm glad that because I was crying very early in the movie. But yeah, we got to watch that.
So what did you think about Dumbo?
Obviously, as I said, I was emotional. I enjoyed it more than I thought. I didn't know at all what to expect because I knew that it was a completely different take on the idea of it. And I think they did a great job with Dumbo. He was just adorable and super expressive, and the sadness and the happiness and everything, like that connection with his mom, you could just really feel. And that's through my, emotionally charged eyes. I really felt that. And I really like Danny DeVito did a really good job. Like, he sometimes can kind of irritate me a little bit, but I really enjoyed his character. Like, he seemed like he genuinely really really love his troupe, and I think he did a good job of not being the kind of greasy, guy, or he wasn't a weasel.
Well, he seemed like he was going to be that way at the beginning. And
and he really wasn't.
Warms up, right?
Yeah, so which was a nice surprise, and I liked that Colette, the acrobatic performer
Eva
there.
Green.
Eva Green. She was not evil. That made me really happy that she wasn't actually a bad girl. So bad girl. That sounds funny. She wasn't actually a villain.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. For me, the acting did stand out, especially with Keaton. I liked his manicness that he had. That he was just like,
he was the crazy billionaire.
Yeah,
right?
And Danny DeVito was fantastic. But the only thing that really took me out of the movie was the kids.
Yeah.
Especially the girl, because a lot of her dialogue felt like it was ripped right from Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events, the Netflix show.
Very much so.
That very basic, driven lines.
Well, it was like, we're going to do this.
Yeah. And I was having a really hard time getting into the movie. And then when she at least got out of her funk, she got better.
Yeah, she was worse when she was depressed.
Yeah.
When she got happier, she got more fluid.
Yeah. But then she was in it less too, though, you notice?
Yeah.
It became
because more characters
showed up.
Well, Dumbo was around more, and then Keaton was involved. Colette was there. Yeah. It was more of them, yeah.
So then they kind of they lost their lines more. And
yeah.
So I actually enjoyed it more than I was expecting, because I have a bit of that love-hate relationship with the live-action remakes of the Disney movies.
But again, it was different, so then
it was
nice.
Completely different than that, and they were able to incorporate.
What did you think of the pink
change.
elephants?
Oh, I was a little sad about the pink elephants, because
that's one of your favorite scenes.
I honestly, I'd hope to get something with Burton, something very trippy and very wild.
Yeah.
And the fact that it pretty much was a static camera shot.
Yeah, just let it happen around it. Yeah.
You never moved around
him. And kind of felt like it should have been like you were involved in it if you had been moving in it instead of just watching Dumbo's eyes.
And then I was actually really surprised how lackluster the score was.
Being Elfman,
especially for that scene. It was very melodic and very dull. And I prefer the rocked up version that they use in Phantasmic.
Oh yeah, that's the version.
Right?
Well, it's right in your face, right? Yeah.
And so here I'm thinking we're gonna get some trippy psychedelic, rock and roll, and we got bubbles on a static shot, and that really,
it was a cool concept with the way it was like the show itself would have been delivered.
Because they can't show them getting drunk, right?
Yeah, so I think that was really cool, but yeah, the actual shooting of it and the cinematic presentation of it could have been better and trippier for sure.
And so that was a little sad on the part. Yeah. Well, the entire movie, everything was on green screen.
Yeah.
There was no real sets. Everything was green screen.
Okay.
Which is weird.
That's impressive.
Right? So shows that, the actor's just going to work in a box.
Yeah.
Oh, because of this, I got to mention this. Disney is being called right now codename Black Box, and it's a new ride that's going to be going in DCA in the Hollywood area, and it's also going to be in Hollywoodland. It is going to be using screen projection technology. It's a motionless track ride, and it's going to be a ride that they can change on the whim.
Holy cow.
So it's going to be a Hot Topic, what's new ride that they might change seasonally and all that, where basically it's just a big black box.
So they could change it with new movie releases.
Yeah.
So for example, they could be release a Lion King type theme.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like a giant marketing machine ride. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's what they're going to be doing. So that ties into the Dumbo. Nothing was real and everything was fake, and they were all just standing
like super
around.
Universal Studios feel.
Yeah. That was one thing I noticed. Everything is going Universal Studios.
Except for around the world, they get roller coasters.
Yeah. Yeah.
But wow, that's a cool concept.
So I think that's what's going to take over their preview.
It's like a giant VR box.
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, I think they're going to. You know how they do this preview.
Oh
things?
yeah, okay.
I think that's going to take that, and you're probably just going to drive through the trailer.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's cool.
Anyways, but yeah, Dumbo. It was pretty good for what it was. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Well, I'm happy we watched it. I'm glad we didn't go to theaters for it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is sad, because at the same time it was over, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm happy that the elephants are happy.
Yeah.
And
you know,
but yeah,
I would have been okay watching it on Disney Plus.
Yes, yes, I would have. So, but yeah, Dumbo was adorable and super. The mom in me is just like, oh my god, he's so cute. Yeah, squishy. And I was just so sad. I was devastated when he was sad. Like, it was devastating.
Yeah.
So that was like, it's a weird thing. I don't know. It's weird, man. The cat's changed me.
It's amazing how sometimes you can be so hard edged, but yet.
I know. And then I get just super weepy and squishy.
Yeah. Well, we'll fly out of Dumbo and we'll move on to another flying character that we watched.
Yes,
we got from the library.
Totally 180 switch on this one.
Yeah, not family-friendly movie at all. Brightburn, the new produced by James Gunn film, written by his brothers, and I can't remember. He's a director he worked with like cinematography and stuff like that.
But it's basically like the what if Superman grew up and was evil?
Became evil. You know, it was interesting though, just for the fact that the parents were still loving parents. And it just showed that he was programmed to be evil, basically.
Yeah, like it's not the exact opposite of Superman. It's the concept that his environment did not override his programming, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than if he had actually been picked up by like crazy people.
Yeah, you know, I almost wonder if it should have been that way more.
Yeah. Where it's like they were pumping him up to be like, no, we found an alien in a field. You were going to rule the world.
That, or if they were just abusive. Even,
right, or that, or they were really horrible.
You know, because then it just showed that, you know, he got to a certain age and his ship wakes up and then blah, blah.
And then he went crazy.
Yeah. Some of it was cool. Some of it was not so cool.
I felt really just, he was just creepy. He did a good job of being just on edge. Like when he went crazy, he went creepy.
Yeah.
And he was scary strong and everything. Yeah. By all means. And he felt really bad because he just literally ripped through his family and his friends, you know. Yeah. There was some really grotesque violence in it too. It was very like old school, like the glass in the eye and everything. It was like it was making me squeamish, right? Yeah. That was probably some of the better parts, not the need for the violence, but it made it stand out a little bit more. Yeah. And then some of the rest of the movie was kind of like, okay, plot, like it was a little uneven for me. Yeah. It's another one of those ones where I'm glad that I watched it for free. Yeah. Right. So I don't recommend it. No, because it was kind of like... It was kind of just there. Like, it felt like it needed more. Like, I out of the two of them, Dumbo was enjoyable. Like, I could watch Dumbo again because there was so much to look at and stuff like that. But Brightburn, it was just like, okay, it's over. Yeah. Like, okay, well, yeah, we all can imagine the exact idea that what if Superman went crazy? Yeah. And there was nothing really new to the concept of it. And as I say, it almost would have been more interesting, as you noticed, that if the parents had been completely different. Bad, yeah. You know, to a really because then it would have at least been something different. Because we can't imagine Superman having evil parents. Yeah. You know, he's always ever just had loving parents. So if it had been that different, then... Right? So yeah, that's what I would have recommended. Evil parents. Yeah. And show that environment is more important than anything. Yeah, because I truly believe that environment is more important than anything else. You know, if you don't have that care and all that and they treated him like garbage, then you could see more of the rage. Where he would want to, the rage, the wanting to stand up for himself. If he had bullies as parents and all of a sudden he has laser eyes, of course he's going to kill people. Right. Like, so that would have just made sense. Yeah. You know, and I think that's on its other end then too, is that as a horror movie, it didn't have a lot. It had two really big grotesque scenes, and that's about it. Oh, okay. Right? So it was kind of like, you're almost like waiting. I was waiting for something big to happen, and nothing big really happened. Not until like the very end. It was like tidied up, and we're like, okay, yeah. You know, he kind of created this fabrication, and we're all good. Yeah. So, but you know, still, it was fun to see it, but. Not my jam. Yeah. Last week on Cup of Rad, Mike and Katie adventured into a land of cartoons from Nickelodeon. They talked about a lot of things that inspired them from Nicktoons. This week on Cup of Rad, we're going to Warner Brothers. Yeah. We picked out 3 that we're going to talk about today. Yes. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do Saturday Morning Cartoons is going to be a bit of a series, an ongoing series. It might just pop up once a month. It might pop up whenever. Well, you know what? Cartoons are huge for us. So we realized like this is a huge topic. Yeah, So we need to like spread it out over some time. Give it some, you know, lots of love. 45 million part epic. Yeah. Right? There you go. 45 million. This is our Moby Dick. Right? This will be our greatest achievement. Right. Okay, so under Warner Brothers. Well, where are we going to start with Warner Brothers? You know what? Honestly, how can you not talk about Warner Brothers cartoons without starting with Looney Tunes?
Right? Merry Melodies.
I mean, that started from the 30s.
Right.
Such old characters and such classic characters for so long. I mean, we started talking about it. We're like, but at what era and what art? And they're all over the place, you know? For me, I really grew up watching what would have been deemed the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show at that time frame, which is just replaying cartoons from the 30s to the 60s. So, I mean, it was all still classics, but it was just kind of done up of like, okay, now we're going to watch this type thing, right? And, that was just, it reminded me of same with Mickey Mouse shorts. It was like, oh, that one's classic, that one's classic. And you just had these in your life, and they're just such amazing characters that are just ridiculous and silly.
Well, it's funny too, because like, I remember a lot of them, but I don't remember names.
Yes.
Right?
We were actually like, okay, let's look up some of these names of them, because some of them too, maybe you would never even actually seen that, or it flies by so quick and you don't remember. I mean, there's how many of them, right? After all of that, I mean, it's an amazing amount of episodes, right?
Right. Well, because I remember watching Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes cartoons from the old VHS.
Oh, yes.
The 4-hour VHS.
The compilation.
Right, where you never really knew where you were in it. So you watched it and then you got to a point and when you paused it and then you could never find it again unless you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
or if you were, I didn't even think about it till now, you should have written down, Mike. If like child Mike can somehow hear this in the past.
Like, write it down.
Write down the timestamp.
I would never have
to find those ones you liked. But I
used to remember that because we used to record like on the VCR, record stuff off TV, and then you'd have to like make sure you watch. Okay, like I remember my Alice in Wonderland was recorded on a VC. I can't even say it. What am I talking about? VHS. What are these words coming out of my mouth?
Yeah.
And it's like you had to write the timestamp on there of when it was. So you had, okay, I got to go fly through it for this. How much? Oh my gosh, right? And The Secret of Nim, that was another one that was on. Like, I think those were together on a tape.
No.
Sorry, I'm totally having childhood flashbacks right now.
Radstalgia.
Secret of Nim is another movie that I watched a lot as a child.
Yeah, that was on CBC a lot.
And then as I got older and I watched it again, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like dark and devastating. Like, oh my goodness.
Right.
But anyways, back to Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. What's up, Doc?
Oh, look, squirrel.
But yeah, there's so many classic ones, and they created such fantastic cartoons, and there's so many a wealth of characters.
Well, and you know what's another one? It's funny. We watched, like our son was actually watching. We have a collection of them, and he was watching some of the old ones, like from the 40s type thing, and to see the difference of Bugs Bunny and how he has changed so much, how tiny he was. He was short. He remind you see the difference in Mickey Mouse because from being that same time frame, right? Because Bugs Bunny first showed up in 1938. And to see that change there of how he is now, how tall and skinny he is, and how, he doesn't look like a rabbit anymore. But back then, he looked a lot more like you would think of as somewhat of an anamorphic rabbit would look like. Yeah,
right? The animation changes and elongates.
And Elmer Fudd was so shiny in that cartoon. It was the weirdest thing. It's funny. The first thing I thought of was he looked like King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Like, it was that same style. It was like Wreck-It Ralph was totally based on original Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. It's probably where you get a lot of those inspirations because, Chuck Jones was such a pivotal director when it came to creating those cartoons. And it's interesting now watching them, and I think it's something that's really important to stress is that if you're watching those cartoons, especially with kids, you got to realize that there's a lot of violence.
Like, holy moly, you don't realize it until,
And, there's gunplay and there's all these things.
Well, I just watched one and Yosemite Sam is like they're having a battle. They're going back and forth getting bigger guns to shoot at each other. And then he's shooting the rabbit and making him dance with like bullets on the ground and everything. And it was just like, it's not something we expect anymore.
No. And it shows that slapstick comedy. Well, even, because I told you, I was like, Daffy Duck, the one that I liked was the Scarlet Pumpernickel.
Yes.
Right? And
so 1950.
Yeah, and that's not that long ago, really, when you think about it.
Well, shows how much cartoons have changed, right? And what was acceptable back then.
And it gets to the end, and Daffy shoots himself in the head.
Yeah, he's like, well, guess there's nothing left to do but to shoot myself. He said kill myself. I was just like, we looked at each other like, oh my goodness, that just happened. And he actually did.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to kill yourself to get something done in this business.
Right? Like, that was a statement right there.
dark and twisty.
That was dark and twisty.
But so that's the idea, though, is that a lot of those tunes, though, weren't really made for kids, though.
Well, and that same with Mickey Mouse. We don't realize they weren't made for children.
And I'm going to say after the 60s and 70s, we made those cartoons for kids.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, I grew up with these and they're corporate images, just like Mickey Mouse. Bugs Bunny became Warner Brothers' corporate image.
Yeah.
And now when you see a Bugs Bunny cartoon and all that, it doesn't have the same bite and edge. Speaking of which, though, they are doing new Bugs Bunny shorts coming out soon, which I'm curious to see where they go.
Yeah, are they going to mirror the same idea of the Mickey Mouse shorts, or are they a bit of an edge? Or
I think they're going to have a bit of edge again. Bugs Bunny's going back to having yellow gloves.
Oh, okay.
And that was what he originally had.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
I think Bugs Bunny is so funny, too. I thought it was how often he switches genders. He would just dress up like this really pretty woman and just totally, grab everyone's attention. And it was just hilarious how just like, I'm just going to do whatever I need to. And he could be so vindictive about things and just like, I'm going to get my way. Like we watched there's a What's Up, no, it's not. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but he goes and he pretends to be Leopold because he needs to get back at the opera singer who has, broken his banjo.
Yeah.
God forbid he broke the banjo. And the guy is like suffocating on stage and he literally brings the concrete building down on top of him. He's like, yep. That was what I wanted. And he starts playing his banjo. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, that was what he wanted to do, right? So, my favorite, I think, is an episode called What's Opera Doc? And it's from 1957. And everyone would know what it is. It's the Viking theme opera, epic, right? And I love the idea of the Viking aspect, of course, that grabbed my attention. And it's just it goes back and forth between
kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit.
I mean, it's got oh, it's just so funny. And then there's the like love song in the middle of it. Like it's really sweet love song until Bugs Bunny's headdress falls off. And all of a sudden it's like, what? It's the rabbit. Like,
it's a rabbit.
But how could you go wrong with Ride the Valkyries? Like, you can't go wrong with that. And, but it actually is a really important cartoon in the world of Looney Tunes and cartoons in general. It was actually the first cartoon to be deemed significant, culturally, historically, anything, significantly enough to be selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. It was in 92, so it was actually the first cartoon ever to do that. Chuck Jones apparently has had at the time three, or at the time of whenever that was published there, three of them in there, which was like the most anyone had done. I'm sure there's plenty more now because there's so many more cartoons, right? But it was so funny to think of in 92 even, that was only the first one that was actually preserved in that registry, right? Which is such a weird concept. So
yeah. Well, I think there was the idea where it still wasn't seen as a valid, as much as we laugh at it, there's not a valid medium.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And I think they saw that one there was the idea that it was teaching something of a history feel because they actually had historical mythological characters. And then, it was such a beautiful blend of music and all, because they actually apparently used for their dance scenes and like the opera and the ballerina aspect, some of the ballerina models they used in Fantasia, actually. So there was definitely, you could tell that same time period would have been blending that Fantasia feel, right? So, and
that's the thing is how animation can be so beautiful and they can just create something in a story and not that realization of even in a 5-minute cartoon how beautiful you can make something, right?
What about for you? What is, you talked about Scarlet Pumpernickel.
That was the one I talked about because I remember that one. I like Daffy Duck in a lot of cases because a lot of his cartoons, he seemed like an actor. He was one of the ones where like he played Robin Hood once. He was Duck Dodgers. It was like he was an actor.
He just did whatever they needed him to.
Yeah. Like it's like he strolled on the lot and they're like, well, what am I playing today?
It was super Roger Rabbit feel, right?
Right, yeah. Whereas a lot of the other ones, they didn't really feel like they were an actor playing a role. Yeah. They seemed more like they were just in a cartoon. Yeah. And there was no like,
because Bugs Bunny, whenever he changed characters, he was doing it for his own personal gain.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. So that's what really made Daffy stand out to me because it was weird. Because I was always like,
you know what? I am not surprised at all that Daffy Duck is your favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. He just seems like he just would speak to you a little bit more. I don't know. He just... Because he's like the smart guy, but he feels a little downtrodden and like Yeah.
he's always beaten on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
his face blowing off all the time.
Right? I love that his beard. It's funny that his bill flies around his face as if it's completely detached.
Right.
I think that's hilarious that his bill actually comes off his face.
Yep.
I loved the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons. Those were also, that was my second favorite for sure. Like any of them, because they're all the same. It's just, Coyote being blown up.
Right.
And it's just hilarious.
And that was my grandfather's. That was the thing that he always loved. He loved those cartoons because he thought it was so funny that here was this product that Wiley was buying and it would just always blow up on him.
Always. And yet he kept buying Acme products.
Yeah, right?
But we're better this time.
Right. So that was always something I remember from him was that one there. He also liked, do you remember the sheepdog?
Yes.
And that was his other favorite one.
Oh, okay.
I just thought that was hilarious with the time clock, the punching in and out.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
Hey Ralph, and they go and because that was basically just Wile E. Coyote, but with a sheepdog.
Right, yeah. Well, the other one short was the long-haired hare, which is the one with the monster, the red fuzzy monster, right? And the scientist, it's awesome because it goes up to his lair and it actually is like in neon flashing mad scientist, and he's so creepy.
Yeah.
He looks all like slimy and everything. It's like, and because he gets lured there by a wind up robotic bunny, right? It's hilarious. And he gets chased around and he's a creepy, the credits are really cool because they look like a Universal monster, like old school movie, right? And they just such a great job with that show for sure.
Well, with the Looney Tunes and all that, besides the tape, it was the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. We all the overture and they dance around. That was what we all saw, right?
Yeah,
and that's how we were introduced to it.
It's almost like Muppets, right? Where it's like the Muppet Show, and then they're going to introduce the skits, right? So, well, and I remember too from that, like so much Tweety merch. Like I didn't even
the 90s were saturated with Tweety,
right? And it's so funny because you look at the Tweety shows though, and it's like, really, I could care less about it, right? It was this attitude, this attitude bird, right? But I had so much Tweety stuff and I don't even know why. Like I just,
well, it was huge,
but it was everywhere, 90s. Right? I had
you go anywhere. You go to a fair and there's Tweety birds. You go to
even still now. It's like, oh, we're finding Looney Tunes. No, we're finding Tweety bird stuff.
Yeah.
I had a shirt because it was cool to wear really long t-shirts. Awesome. So really long t-shirt with a gigantic Tweety bird with wait for it, an American flag bandana on. It was fantastic.
Cue the like hip hop music in the back.
Oh yeah,
the 90s.
Because now it would have like a gold chain on it.
Oh, you know what? Okay. I got you. Okay. I had a Tasmanian devil. He had a hat on backwards. Yeah. And he had like bright colors. He's all like cross arms,
like
cross legs.
Cross-legged.
It's not the Breakfast Club. Cross armed, all like, right?
Yep. I think a lot of that came after Space Jam as well. Part of it, like that kind of, some of that kind of brought it back in where it was kind of like hip now, right? But I think my brother had a Taz shirt like that too. But I remember it was just a giant Tweety bird on this giant shirt. It's just so tacky.
We know we have Dorbs. We have the Rabbit Season and Daffy Dorbs.
Yes,
that's about the only stuff we have that is Looney Tunes.
Yeah, because I wanted to get that. Well, we have a Space Jam.
Yeah, we got Space Jam.
But I mean, that's specific. Let's be honest. That's just Space Jam.
Space Jam. Y'all know Space Jam.
Everyone should know Space Jam. It's awesome,
right? That's a good movie. It's funny.
It was so funny, like it was so
weird too.
Who knew that Michael Jackson could stretch? Who knew that Michael Jordan could stretch that far, right? I mean, it's magical.
Well, we're not talking about Space Jam. That's for like another time. Maybe that's a rad Nisha at some point.
Yeah.
Because we're here to talk about the cartoons.
What came next?
Well, so like you had the Bugs Bunny Tweety, it was gaining popularity.
But as we had said, it was violent.
So they were running out of, I think they were running out of a lot of cartoons.
Well, too, I mean, they weren't using new cartoons. There was re-airing old ones. So there's only so long it could really go on, right?
Yeah. So with that, Spielberg and Warner's got together and they created Tiny Toon Adventures.
Yeah. So it was the fall of 1990. Yeah. They debuted that. And a lot of it, they wanted to, get away from the violence, have more parody humor, those types of things. And so there was the idea that they were the new stars.
Yeah.
Living in Acme Acres and attending Looniversity.
Yeah.
And all the teachers were the Looney Tunes stars.
Yeah, they just always showed up in the background. And you had Babs and Buster Bunny. Yep. No relation.
Plucky, Dizzy Devil.
Yeah, they all mirrored something that was a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. I remember having McDonald's plush of Dizzy Devil.
I had so many McDonald's toys of all of them. Like, so many. I had the coolest things ever. They were cars that would flip up characters. So then there was like 2 characters to the car and you could flip the car over. And like the one I remember specifically was the Elmira one. She was in a bathtub. So she would flip up and she was Elmira in a bathtub. And then you would flip her down and then like the little like green space alien thing would pop up on the other side. Yes, the dodo. That's what it was. It would pop up on the other side and it was like right. So it was a whole theme. So there was Buster and Babs were like that as well. I believe it was a 2-pack. So yeah, it was fantastic. Like so many McDonald's toys from that.
Yeah, I don't remember any of those. I just remember a plush Dizzy.
Nice.
I always wanted the plush fur ball.
Let's just remind ourselves that we just got a plush from McDonald's. Think how much cooler McDonald's toys were back then.
Dude, I had Muppet Babies. I had a Fozzie Bear and Gonzo, but the Fozzie Bear.
Oh, McDonald's toys back then were the jam. They were awesome. That was half my toy collection was from McDonald's, which sounds really bad, by the way.
You could buy toys without actually like buying the meal
as well, but let's be honest, yeah.
But
you could. I remember going and buying
But they were
toys.
like 99 cents back then.
Yeah, now you go. I remember way back when our son was little, like we never took him to McDonald's because he could care less about it anyway. But we would go and try to buy toys and it was like, that'd be $5. I was like, holy moly. It's so expensive.
They're like, why don't you just buy the meal? It's cheaper.
Right? So Tiny Toons there.
Tiny Toons I always thought was funny because it was weird.
Yeah.
Right? And I do remember we did recently watch the episode with the hitchhiker, right?
Oh yeah.
That like was like triggered by pork.
Yes.
And there he gets picked up by Hampton's family on their road trip with Plucky. And
yeah, Plucky's like, something is wrong here.
And he's just like, pork, spare ribs, and chainsaw comes out and all that. And Plucky's just losing it.
He's just like the epitome of the scary looking guy too. He's all like grizzly and he's in flannel and he's all like haggard looking and yeah.
Big bagged under his eyes, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Well, that ran for 3 seasons then.
Yeah.
It was 98 episodes of that.
Which is pretty fantastic to think about. In a 3-year period for that. For 98?
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
That's like almost like live TV worthy right there.
Right? Because, let's put
25 episodes.
Let's put that into consideration for today.
No, that's even more. Never mind. For 3 seasons, that was like... It's like 30-something, 33 episodes a season, right?
So you think about that and you put down, now we've got channels dedicated to cartoons. Before this aired on 3 different channels.
Yeah.
Right? It was syndicated. It was a CBS, I think. And then it went to Fox Kids. And Fox Kids was huge in the 90s.
It wasn't on like the Warner Brothers episode?
No, that's a thing, right?
That's a weird thing.
But once they created those cartoon-only stations...
Things just dropped down their episodes, yeah.
Think of Disney and Gravity Falls. 4-year period. 2 seasons. 28 episodes or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's like there's like got too much. They had so much time they had to fill. They didn't take the chances on things that weren't going to bring them money. They just syndicated a whole bunch of other things and then just
marathon it.
Yeah, that's it, right? So,
but back then it was like weekly. You got to your TV on Saturday mornings. It was like yes,
yeah.
When it came to Tiny Toons, I always liked Dizzy Devil.
Yeah,
I keep going back to Dizzy because he was a purple Tasmanian devil.
Okay, so he was purple. That solves it right there. Let's be honest.
If you're a purple character, Mike's gonna like you.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, you'll find that's a trend.
I really liked Plucky. I really did, and Babs and Buster. I mean, of course, it was a pink bunny. I mean, it was fantastic.
And Tress McNally was Babs.
Yeah, and I had stuffed animals of them both for sure.
And the voice of Buster was actually the voice of the Crypt Keeper,
which is hilarious.
So take that to the bank. Which is fantastic,
right?
But it was different because it was like a social commentary almost on life in a lot of cases, because it would like not a lot would actually take place in the school. It was always like they were like little videos that they were making, like school projects almost, or like hidden cameras. It was almost like a reality television show.
Yes,
scripted, but with cartoons,
right? And it was definitely edgier. It was because it was trying to grab the market from Looney Tunes, it didn't get all fluffy or anything like that. It was, as I say, the parody humor and those kind of a weird situations, but it was still really edgy. I mean, with a hitchhiker, like there's actually a lesson you could learn from that.
Don't pick up hitchhikers.
Be weary and concerned about the people that you pick up when they start acting strange. Right. So yeah, so it was definitely a pivotal cartoon for sure.
But it ended up disappearing because it still had a lot of that cartoon violence. Yeah. Which in that time frame, violence was starting to get downplayed.
Yes. So in 93, what showed up?
Hello, nurse. That's right. It's time for Animaniacs. Da-da-da.
Oh, what? We don't get the whole song?
Pay for pay contracts. There's baloney in our sax. Well, Billy plays a sax. We're Animaniacs.
There you go. Thank you.
Pinky and the brain, they want to rule the universe. The pigeons flock together.
No, see, I just started this, right? You know how
Button
long
chases Mindy. While Rita sings a verse. The writers thought they have no script. Why bother to rehearse?
Oh, now you got to finish. You're going to. But anyway, so obviously, Mike likes the Animaniacs.
Animaniacs, as much as I enjoyed the others that we talked about today, Animaniacs was probably my favorite. Yeah. Because it was so weird.
Well, because they took the violence way far down and replaced it with even more parody humor and just they broke that fourth wall all the time. They added music and lessons.
So many songs.
Right?
How many people out there when you listen to this, did you learn the countries of the world from Yakko Warner?
Let's be honest.
Right?
Right? Well, because they used a whole orchestra. Yeah. I mean, that's fantastic.
Especially being for a kid's cartoon.
Right.
You don't have that kind of quality, especially now, even in regular television, they make fun of it all the time with the CSI shows. It's just a guy sitting with a synthesizer. Right. So that idea that they actually had orchestrated music and they had, all those songs and they made fun. Nothing was safe. Everything was a joke. There's so much adult humor. Well, I watch now and I'm like, oh.
Right. Well, they made some really good social commentary on things, right? It's really impressive.
It's a time capsule. It's an SNL for kids.
Yes.
From the 90s.
Right. And then sometimes it's right, with the SNL. Because we can watch old SNL and be like, okay, that was really funny. And that was really weird because I didn't understand the context. Animaniacs is the same way. You can watch something and it's hysterical. And then you can watch another one and you're like, what were they thinking?
Right? What was going on?
I don't understand what happened.
Yeah. Well, because they also, they did stuff that they tried to, it was like, we need to bring kids culture. Yes. Almost.
Like the countries, right?
Right. And, or just even they'd suddenly do a whole musical episode that was like a musical theater episode. Yes. At one point they did the Pirates of Penzaz.
And then you turn around and Wacko is belching.
Right. He belches the alphabet.
Right. Because you know what? Kids would have thought that was hilarious.
They would have watched this long, musical episode and be like, what? And then,
and then you bring it right back down. And you're like, okay, I can get behind this.
I'm back on this, right?
Right? Dot was just adorable and hilarious.
And I'm cute.
Yep.
That was Tress McNally again.
Again, right?
And Rob Paulson. Rob Paulson did triple duty. A lot of them did multiple things in there.
Well, every time you watch an episode, you're like, oh, that's Rob, that's Rob.
Yeah, well, Rob was Yakko, and he was Narf. Pinky, right? So, and then a lot of them, they did other things as well. Jess Harnell, he was Wacko. Yeah. And he had that whole drawl, Fabu. He was like a beetle. Yeah. Right? And Maurice LaMarche was the brain. He'd probably love to hear that, right?
Yeah, I loved Maurice LaMarche.
He did his Orson Welles how many times on that show too, right? It was just, how long did that run?
That was 99. That was 99 episodes, 5 seasons. It ran to 98.
Right? So that's, a long time. And they had one special. They had Wacko's Wish. Yes. Which was the movie, the Christmas movie. Yes. Right? And they did so much. But it wasn't just even those ones. They had, the Buttons and Mindy thing.
Well, what's funny is with this is we've shown our son some of those older cartoons and he's like, okay, this is cool. This is all right, But Animaniacs, he'll sit down and watch himself. Yeah. He's like, this is hilarious and weird. Right. And he can really
get behind the mime.
That.
Yeah. Or the what not to do, good idea, bad idea. Good idea, read a book. Bad idea, light your book on fire.
See,
Right?
you learn lessons from it, really important lessons.
And then there's the wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. What is the lesson that we shall learn? And there was always a different lesson, and they were weird too. It was like, you know, some of them were weird.
See, okay, so in fairness though, I did not grow up with this one. I knew of it, but I didn't watch it really, which is like a travesty for my childhood now that I know about.
Well, what's interesting though is you know Tiny Toons, but you weren't right.
Like, and when I realized all the time frame around this, I'm like, how did I love Tiny Toons and grow up with this and then completely miss out on Animaniacs? I don't understand that.
Right.
And so that was weird, and I don't know if maybe it was because they weren't characters that I knew at all. But like, because we had watched, you know, the Tiny Toons again, and it was like, this looks like Animaniacs, and you told me, oh, it came out before it. What? I had no idea. Right. And so yeah, I love that we have it on disc and we can watch that whenever we want because we have everything.
Yeah, we got the entire thing, including Wacko's Wish. Yeah. And the other thing too is all the segments they were never the same. Yeah. And that's what I like. Like the Animaniac, the actual Warner Brothers and the Sister Dot were a different type of humor than, say, the stories that involved the Goodfellows. Yeah. Or the stories that involved Buttons and Mindy. Yeah. Or the stories that involved Slappy the Squirrel. Or Pinky and the Brain.
Slappy was hilarious. She's so grumpy.
So like, and Slappy's the one where they were like, as much as they were trying with the rest to parody and get away from the violence, they were like, but here's some violence.
And then there's this grumpy squirrel.
Right? And I just slapped him in the face with a sledgehammer.
It's because she was like a grumpy old lady, and for some reason that was okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And Slappy. Oh, great. He's back.
Oh, Mindy was hilarious. She was just
hey, lady, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Call me mother.
See, I knew some of that stuff.
Right. Well, because there was a lot of McDonald's toys.
I must have known that because I knew who the Animaniacs were. You had
McDonald's toys in that bin that you guys.
Yeah. You've seen my. I still had my McDonald's toys. They were kept for my son later on, and So Mike's going through the bin. He's like, "Oh, there's this. Oh, that's what that's from. Okay."
You know, the Animaniacs would be something that I would love as like a figure art or something. Yeah. You know, Animaniacs is also one of those things where I really think if done right, they could have done a live action movie as long as they got the original actors back to play them. Because you imagine Roger Rabbit style movie, but with the Animaniacs.
So they were animated, but the rest of the world. So Roger Rabbit. Oh, right? That would be fantastic.
That's what I would love to see.
You know what's funny is like learning and watching the opening credits and listening to the song. Like, as an adult here, I'm, like, super impressed by it. Like, I still am. Like, you sing that song, and I'm like, that is just, like, the greatest song ever. And, like, the concept of them living in this tower and, like, being the, like, shunned, you know, children of Warner Brothers lot type thing. Like, this is, like, big stuff. Like, I'm still, like, in awe of the concept, and I don't know why, but because it's just impressive.
They also allowed it to be, like, we had these abominations that we locked away.
Right? Like, and I think that's what's funny is that it does not make Warner Brothers look good as a a No. And the fact that they allowed that is just mind-blowing.
And they were just like, haha, yeah, we did this. Here, hire psychiatrists.
Right? It's just, I still can't get over how hilarious it is.
Yeah, the monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see.
See, yeah, we could just keep going and going.
I just laugh because the fact that there's so much music in it, I think that was really poignant because we don't really see that anymore in shows. There's not a lot of music. Yeah. Or if it is, it's like pop music almost feel, right? Yeah. Versus like actual sing-songs, musical.
Well, yeah.
It was a musical.
Well, and the fact that the actors actually sang.
Yes.
You know, like that's just super impressive for sure. So
there's just so many things that came out of it.
I think that is definitely a national treasure.
Yes.
It's a national treasure.
You know, it's one of those shows where you need to like suss out because if you have never seen it, you need to do yourself a service and find it.
And just find it and just be open to the weirdness of it all.
Yeah, just sit back and allow the weirdness envelop you.
Just wash over.
If you listen to us...
You will be okay with the Animaniacs.
Right? Yeah, especially too, like, I'm curious because Hulu's supposed to have a reboot. They still haven't announced who's voicing it. They've coyly kind of made note that the original cast might be back. But I'm curious why it's going to Hulu because Warner's is going to have their own streaming service and yet Hulu's owned by Disney. It's a weird conundrum.
That is strange.
I'm really curious to see how Animaniacs will play in this world, because when you do watch it, it's not politically correct.
No.
So gone is hello nurse,
Which is a travesty in its own.
That's not going to be there.
No.
Because it can't, understandably.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's
what kind of...
I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. It's supposed to be 2020. We'll see where that comes out of. But most of the reboots haven't worked.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls didn't work.
I think this is one of those ones where it was just so unique, and I think the world is just... That's 20 years since... It's been over 20 years now that it's ended. The world has changed so much.
Right.
So...
it's going to be how many times we're going to have Yakko sing the Countries of the World.
I was going to say.
That's all it is.
He'll have to learn a completely new song.
Right. Well, he does do it. If you follow Rob Paulson on his social media, every once in a while he does it,
Which is just so fascinating.
He can sing that song without anything, which is crazy.
He's probably one of the few people in the world that actually knows all the countries of the world. Seriously, just it's so impressive. The artistry behind making a song that just has the countries of the world behind it is just fascinating.
Yeah. To
be able to blend that and fit it all together to a tune is just unbelievable.
Right.
So,
on a side note with that though, there was Pinky and the Brain, and from that Pinky and the Brain, what are we gonna do tonight, Brian? Mm-hmm. We're gonna take over the world. And those cartoons were fantastic. And then they got a spin-off show. Yes. Right? And then in a weird, odd turn of events, after that show ended, then it became Pinky Elmira in the Brain. And if you realize, Elmira is from Tiny Toons.
Right?
So
weird. So how much they were...
Right? And so they kept it alive for forever, it felt like.
Right?
Right. And... it's just weird.
Yeah, it's just good stuff. Good stuff.
But definitely, I out of all the tunes we talked, easiest to find, of course, is Looney Tunes. But Animaniacs is if you want a weird trip.
Definitely, because you never know what to expect.
Yeah,
just a fun surprise.
And well, that was the end of the animation portion of our show today.
Yes, it is.
Check back, because there's always going to be Saturday morning cartoons. Our list is close to 100 cartoons. So
seriously, he made a list of 100 cartoons. It was impressive.
We will be touching on many things in the future. But from that though, we're going to shift gears and we're going to get into 5 fandoms, 5 characters, part 3 of our interview with Theo from Insayiandragonball.
It's special guest correspondent time.
And here we go. And we're carrying on that road. We've had Smallville with Lex Luthor, Supernatural with Dean Winchester. We're going to roll into the DC universe. Theo, what is your favorite character out of DC's stable of characters?
DC, man. It's not Batman. It's not Superman. It's not Green Lantern. It's not even a hero. My favorite character is the Joker.
Okay. So
not just any Joker, though. We're talking about Heath Ledger's Joker.
Okay.
And that's an Australian Joker. He's an Australian Joker. Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, it really pulled me into the character. He gave the character so many dimensions. You think about it. He gave it the crazy, the smarts, the anarchy, and a couple of funny, quirky moments, like when he dressed as the nurse walking out of the hospital while blowing it up with the remote. That was hilarious.
I like the pencil trick.
Oh, yeah. Make it disappear. That's hilarious. That whole scene was very well done, actually.
I think that's my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah. He just walked in there all confident, even though they all had guns and everything. Obviously, he had a backup plan no matter what. He was freaking wearing a million grenades under his cool purple coat. But he did it like a boss. Mm-hmm. It's here's my card. This is this freaking YouTube clip I saw of that, and he's just given some dude's dressed up as him. It's here's my card, one for you, and he hands all the gangsters Joker cards, and one of them's there's no number on this, man. How are we supposed to call you? Mm-hmm. But so he's got great mannerisms as well. But I loved how he couldn't be controlled. No one was above him. He did what he wanted, just cause. It's the scene where Batman's interrogating him and beating him to a pulp. Now, those were real punches, by the way. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Really? If you actually go back and watch it, the punches sound real because they are real. And Heath Ledger said to Christian Bale, "Hey, you got to really hit me in the face. Let's really sell this."
That's pretty wild.
So he was very method, old Heath. But beating him to a pulp, and he just laughs his absolute hardest and says, "You have nothing to threaten me with, nothing to do with all your strength." Now, I felt in that moment that he took Batman's power from him. Like, I'd say Batman's power is fear, and the Joker just took away that fear and made him a guy in a mask.
Yeah.
And now I thought that was just really powerful stuff.
Yeah, that is a fantastic portrayal of the character for sure.
Well, see, he is a very psychotic and chaotic character, and you know what? I think when Jack Nicholson played the Joker in 1989, he needed therapy after, which is why ultimately and sadly this role took Heath Ledger's life. It was a very sad day for all of us. And yes, he did win a posthumous Oscar for the Best Supporting Actor and was well deserved. But I often say to my wife Jessa, "Wow, imagine what he would have gone on to achieve if he was still alive."
Very true, very true. It's very sad that that all had to happen through getting so deep, and that's one of the issues, say, with method acting, right? You get so caught up in your character that you never turn off. You hear those stories about actors that do that start waning their workability. Jim Carrey did that with Man on the Moon with the Andy Kaufman story, and they can either really tick people off or they disappear. And unfortunately for Ledger, it made him disappear. So
yeah, well, they even said with the Suicide Squad Joker, I'm not sure how relevant that is because it was like a 5-minute thing, and now Joaquin Phoenix is the new Joker. What up with that? But Will Smith actually said about Jared Leto, Will Smith's I'd even say that I never even met Jared Leto. I just met the Joker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did a lot of weird things. He's sending people, weird packages when he was a Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he sent Will Smith a dead rat.
Yeah. I think a finger or something like that. There's some weird stories.
He was on Jimmy Fallon. Jared Leto was on Jimmy Fallon, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I've got a gift for you. It's not from me. It's from the Joker." And it was like a baby snake in a box. Yeah, Jared Leto. But see, Heath Ledger's Joker would be my favorite version of the character. But I also give a lot of respect to Jack Nicholson and Mark Hamill as the voice of the animated Joker and the Arkham games. Iconic voice sends a chill down my spine. Only Mark Hamill could pull that off. Paired with Kevin Conroy as the voice of the animated Batman, and I'm home.
Yeah.
And I think you'd agree on that, Mike.
Oh. A lot of people, if I was ever to meet Hamill, I'm meeting him for the Joker, not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
That's everyone would be going up with their lightsabers and stuff. I'll be like, you are my Joker, dog. That would be my thing, because I've got my Conroy signature. I need my Hamill signature, so Mark needs to come to Vancouver and I'd be all down, because that is my Joker. When it comes to Jokers, even though it's not live action, Hamill's voice through that series and all the series, through the animated, through the Justice League, all the way into the Arkham games, is just perfection in my mind. But that's a rad nostalgia look at it, right? So
oh yeah, especially it's continuity and using the same voice for that character. You just know it, and no one else could pull it off like that. And it's actually very chilling, when you hear it. And he was even on a panel a few years back. A fan just shouted out, "Hey, Mark, dude, why so serious?" in your voice. He's like, "Why so serious?" It just sounded really menacing.
Yeah.
And loved it. It brought a smile to my face. It's like, man, that's cool. No one else could do that.
What they should do is they should just redub that movie with Conroy and Hamill, just to see what it would look like and sound like.
Wow. That's actually a great idea.
Right?
Maybe we should tweet them and they'll do it.
Right? Because that could just be amazing. So
yeah, I'd watch it. I'd buy it, frame it, get it signed. What's your favorite animated Batman movie?
The animated movie?
Yeah, any one of the DC animated. What would you say your favorite?
Mask of the Phantasm. Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
Hands down. I don't think they've done anything better than that. That movie wasn't a copy of a comic story. It was original content. And for the time it came out, the fact that Batman in a movie that was based from a TV show beats the Joker to knock out a tooth and there was blood in that time frame, but was based for kids cartoon, not now like the stuff that's all PG or R when they comes direct to video. Like, to have that in there and then to not actually know if the Joker died or not in the explosion was just wow, right? So yeah, for me, it's going back to the Phantasm. That's a beautiful film. I can't wait to show Kiddo. We're gonna do, because Batman's 80th, Batman Day hits in September, so we're gonna be finishing up the Batman stuff that we haven't watched with him, and Phantasm is gonna be in that. So
yeah, that's rad. I like that. Mike, what's your favorite DC character?
Well, for DC, for me, it goes to the comics. It's Dick Grayson, the original Robin, who eventually goes on to grow up. One of the few characters to actually ever grow up in comics, Nightwing. It just, I there's something about that character that I just really like. And I first got my introduction to Dick Grayson in the animated series, and then it was like, oh, cool. And then I went back and I read the Teen Titans stuff when he was Robin in there and with the shorty shorts and all that. And you move into when he grows up to become Nightwing, and I just thought it was really cool to see his character go forward and become something different. His history has definitely had ups and downs throughout the comics, some very highs and some very, very lows. I think the reason why I enjoy it is because it's all the confidence and agility and strength and training of Batman, but the quippy smile of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, I can understand that.
So like a lot of people like to compare him more to Daredevil, but I don't really see that connection as like the Marvel parable. I see Spider-Man just because he's just kind of cocky and the he has his quippiness when he fights and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing him show up in live action, more than a few seconds, because in animated, Nightwing only ever shows up for a couple seconds in anything that they've ever done. It seems like
the Titan show.
He was, yeah, but that wasn't as much as I enjoyed that show. It just wasn't the Grayson I was hoping for. It's too dark, right? Because they kind of took a bit of the Bloodhaven story where he became a cop, but it's the whole super, super dark. He doesn't have that cocky smile where, he's almost enjoying what he's doing. There was one run that I thought was interesting, was he began doing some extreme sports because after years of crime fighting and swinging around the city, he needed something to get the adrenaline up. So he started like base jumping and stuff like that just to get his adrenaline up because everything just felt boring. And I thought that was an interesting, because he's not just sitting there being gloomy about it. It's like, no, what can I do to feel alive still and feel excited about it? So
you could just go to the gun range and shoot a gun. That gives you a really good and he doesn't use guns in crime fighting. So let's blow off some steam with a couple rounds,
Yeah, there's always that. But yeah. That is my favorite DC character, and I hope to see him get some love. It's amazing to see how much they make fun of him through Toon Titans Go and say Lego, the Batman movie there. Like, he is the butt of jokes in a lot of cases. I have a hard time picking a DC character because I have so many. DC is my first when it comes to comics, or it was. There's Beast Boy and Batman and all those. I'm a Titans fan, and I love the truth, justice, and pizza feel, right? So if there's pizza involved in it, I'm usually a fan. So
well, Spidey likes pizza.
Exactly. See,
pizza and the Turtles, right?
Yep. You'll see that theme.
The Turtles and Spidey, they both live in New York. Do you think they'd just clock out and just have some pizza and a beer together?
Right.
Probably not the Turtles because they're underage.
Right.
They're teenagers.
They are.
That's the thing that you forget, though, that they're teenagers. You know, even though they're like real tough guys with attitudes and stuff, you know, it's really weird.
Yeah. I'm surprised they've never taken that series and kind of like grew them up a bit. Just even if it was like a what if mini series or something, you know, just become Ninja Turtles, no longer teenage, you know, but that's a different tangent.
But I think a lot of people just refer to them as the Ninja Turtles and they drop the whole teenage thing.
Yeah, they do.
It sort of get lost in translation.
Yeah, it's the simple, not the TMNT. It's just the Ninja Turtles. So, but you gotta say it right. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? So
yeah, we're mutant ninja teenage turtle teenagers.
And that was 5 Fandoms, 5 characters with Theo from Insayiandragonball. Yeah, I know we got off the rails. I
Well, you guys are just having a good time. I get it. You know?
You mentioned pizza and I lost my mind. So
By the way, I 100% agree with you that
pizza's awesome.
Pizza's awesome. And if a character loves pizza, you are down with that character.
Right?
Yep.
Down with the pizza. In a good way. But I'm going to throw that question over to you.
Me.
DC was his number 3 fandom.
Yeah, so Joker, Nightwing. If you've listened to any of the Inside Katie or anything like that, definitely you probably would have guessed it, but Wonder Woman would be my favorite DC character.
You heard it here, folks. We're going to be doing an entire Wonder Woman episode in the future.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we'll have 2 movies eventually.
We easily could, between all the different runs, the graphic novels, the different incarnations, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But definitely Wonder Woman. I mean, I love the world that she's from and the idea and everything that she represents as a character. It's female empowerment, but also just peace and love and compassion for the world. And I think they're great things that she exudes. So
there you go. 5 fandoms, 5 characters. Banging that one out. Katie created a very deep moment after a very wacky moment that ended with pizza.
Right?
But tune in next week for part 4 of that interview with Theo if you want to find out what's his next character, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
And you made it. You made it to the end of another episode. That's right.
It's been so much fun talking about all sorts of fun cartoons.
Right? Isn't it? It's always a great thing.
Awesome.
Thank you to all our new listeners and all our old listeners. We love you. We appreciate it. Share us. Let us get into other people's ears. It's always a good thing to reach out and talk to y'all.
I'm curious to see, too. I mean, what's some of your favorite Looney Tunes, favorite episodes?
Yes.
Did you like Animaniacs, those types of things?
Hit us up in those comments.
I'm curious to
on
know.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're listening from. Let us know.
What are your Warner Brothers Saturday morning cartoons?
Exactly.
Right.
I want to hear that. Tune in next time for Cup of Rad, where you will find out what they've been watching this summer on Radnesia, end of summer break. You will also find out much more things on the next episode of Cup of Rad.
Oh, thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Stay rad.
Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!